Who's E?
Okay.
Hey, sorry. I'm just saying. Thank you. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I know you've waited a long time, and as you guys know from past Sixers drafts, this is a critical time where lots of things happen even right after the draft. So.
Hey, what's going on, Daryl?
Hey.
Real quick, I guess I just wanted to get your thoughts on Jaden. What do you like about his game, and what do you think he really brings to this roster?
Yeah, I mean we're trying. We're trying with we got three guys really excited to be here, and um, we're feeling a lot of pressure as a staff because Coach Rivers and Maxie and Paul Reed and Isaiah Joe all had such a great first year with us, and you know, every year we try to bring in new talent. Coach Rivers does such a good job developing them. So a lot of we feel a lot of pressure on making sure that these players can come in and help the Sixers. You know, Jaden's really exciting, boy. I know GMs get killed for talking about upside, but I mean, he's not 19 yet. You know, already a productive player at Tennessee. We feel good about his ability to be a 3-and-D player in this league. We all know how valuable they are. You know, was a top high school recruit, which I think you know often points to it's a good pool of players to pick from, and that's a bit of a theme of the two you know U.S. guys we picked tonight. Although Philip you know has played in the U.S. in the past. So yeah, no, we're really excited about Jaden, and you know position where you could see a path to him potentially getting on the floor. Usually it takes a rookie more than a year, but you never know.
And then in terms of the second round picks, I know Doc was mentioning that he would have liked more depth, like at the big man spots. So did Doc?
There we go. Boom.
I mean,
Depth.
Was Doc like? Did he have like any influence on those two picks in the second round with Charles and Philip?
Yeah, he ushered all of us out of the room and made all the picks himself. Actually, no. Doc was like super supportive. You know, one thing that I love about Coach Rivers is, look, he's one of the best of all time on the coaching side, and you know, I let him do his thing, and he has a lot of faith in Elton and our staff, and he lets us do our thing. And when we have like, you know, like, hey, what are you thinking? How you know, are you gonna play this kind of defense or that? He really helps us think through which players will fit what he's trying to do. So yeah, Bassie, you know, since we're talking about bigs, Charles Bassie, you know, led the country in defensive rebounding. I think he's like top 3 or 4 prospects. Actually, might have been number 1 in shot blocking among prospects. You know, he's again a top 10 high school recruit. Someone who can shoot. You know, I think with the bigs we're bringing in, we want to make sure they're either switchable or can shoot, and you know, Charles has versatility there. You know, I don't know. We like who we pick. Shocker. So let's repeat last year. Let's do it.
Derek Bodner.
Hey Daryl, I guess sticking on Jaden, he shot it well from the perimeter on pretty low volume. When you project forward on how he needs to grow as a shooter, how do you look at him making the leap to the NBA line?
I mean, I don't want to suck up to you, Derek, but that's like a really good question. So first off, I want to thank everyone for asking about the draft because tonight should be about the draft. I'll just be honest. Like we've got 3 kids excited about being here, so that's gonna be my focus. Yeah, 100%, Derek. Obviously, he's you know had a good track record in college, but limited. Well, you know, and I think you're touching on an important thing. Yeah, obviously, he made a very high percentage of his threes in college, but often the volume will tell you a little bit more. We think his shooting will be, you know, something that probably right out of the gate is we wouldn't expect him to come in and bang 40% of NBA threes. But we know he's a worker. We know he has the ability. We know he can do things. He has touch around the rim and can make free throws. All those things often indicate someone who can shoot later. And Doc has bolstered his coaching staff with, a shooting skill person who are excited to have work with him and others. And, we're going to have a plan for him. And, it's not even 19. I mean, sort of the sky's the limit with Jaden. So, did I answer your question? I hope so. Perfect.
Go to Paul Hedrick.
Hey, Daryl. Last year you kind of just got thrown into this, and you had to kind of scramble to get ready for the draft, and you got hired. But the Sixers have had a success in recent years with the draft. I'm just curious what you've seen from like Vince Rosman and the scouting department, and how big they've been, kind of helping the Sixers have some productive draft recently.
Yeah, we have such a strong track record before I got here, and I want to make sure people understand that. That a big part of what I want to do is hopefully help, but at the same time, like, not mess up something that's been a long time solid track record of Josh Harris and Blitzer and the ownership group. And Vince Rosman's been here from the start, as you mentioned. Elton Brand, we brought in Prosper, who's been really good. So those are the senior guys, and then they have a really strong depth of group that was here. Honestly, it brings to mind a story. The fact I did get thrown in last year, and so I really leaned on them. And I told them early this year, look, guys, you guys have a great track record. I'm leaning on you guys again. We got a lot of priorities to do, and on the NBA roster outside of the draft, and part of the strength of this organization is they are so good. But it reminds me of a story. So when I was in Houston, we traded for a player. I just realized I can't say their name. But we traded for a player at the deadline, flew in, landed, put on a jersey, wasn't even there in time to get out on the floor, went out, scored 35. And I was talking to Coach D'Antoni at the time. I said, hey, that trade looked pretty good. Like, he didn't even know our plays, didn't know anything, scored 35. He's like, wait till we get a chance to coach him. We'll mess it up. So that's part of the humor of Coach D'Antoni. So my main goal is like, we've got a great scouting group, and hopefully I'm helping in certain ways, but they do a lot of magic, and I'm proud to be part of it. That was a really long answer. Sorry.
Mike Sealski. Still muted, like.
Daryl, did you look at this draft as the key opportunity in this offseason to improve yourselves, or do you look at this and say there'll be plenty of other opportunities throughout the offseason and even better ones perhaps during the season?
For me, I view the draft as just the really important blocking and tackling that you do if you're going to have a consistent winner like we plan to have here in Philly and, have had at many points in their history. Look, these players don't pan out in year one. It's usually like in years 2, 3, 4 where they pan out. So it's almost like you're planning future ability to improve the team through their upgrades or other ways. And look, it goes into a lot of the little things that an NBA staff does, and players do with off-season work, working on skills. These are the things that don't pay off right away, but over time they become really important. They make you more flexible in free agency because you have Maxey coming along, because Maxey showed us so much in year one. Now you can use your free agent dollars other places and give him a real shot. So it's really important and subtle and pushes you forward, and you have to do well, and hopefully we're going to continue to do that.
Noah Levy.
Hey, Daryl. Before
come in here, it had been quite a while before you'd used a first-round pick. Just wondering, with Maxey and Springer using those picks and staying put at your slot, does that just boil down to having those guys extremely high on your board, or what exactly went into that position?
It's two things, or three maybe, but hopefully I'll remember all three when I get to number 3. I would say biggest one is we have three extremely good players in their prime, Tobias, Ben, and Joel. And, with a long runway in our minds in terms of being in their 20s. People pointed to a lot of us not using picks where I was before. A lot of that was our key players were all in their 30s, and we were reversing a lot of the draft capital into helping the team, get over the final hump, and we didn't quite get there, but we were pretty good. So we have we've got 3 guys in their 20s in their prime, and we feel like we can do both, increase our odds of winning now and also keep developing as well. And then to your point, some of it's like what opportunities were available relative to the quality of the player. That's always something that you have to judge, and we feel really good about who's available.
Next, we will go to Howard Eskin.
Daryl, I'm going to break the streak because I know you mentioned, glad that you've asked about the draft, but part of that draft, obviously with all the stories that have come out, have been about the trading of Ben Simmons. How close did you come? Did you come close at all to finding somebody that wanted to trade for him? And a second question is, where does Joel Embiid stand on his surgery for his meniscus? And thank you.
Yeah, so I'll take the second one first. I would just say high level. I want to focus on the draft tonight, so I'm sorry to disappoint you, Howard. It's too late for me to joke, but you're asking the questions you should ask. So I would say Joel has been in the gym. He was in the gym today working on his game. He has a plan with our medical staff, and we feel good about it. And we are not concerned about him medically at all. In terms of the first question, frankly, I'm focused on the draft and the 3 guys excited to be here. And we're back in the office tomorrow with the staff and have a lot of important work to do on the roster going forward.
Does that mean that Joel is not going to have surgery on his knee for the meniscus?
Yeah, again, he has a plan, and looks great. I'm intentionally not answering your specific question.
I noted.
That's fine.
Next, we'll go to James Hill.
Hey, Daryl, congratulations on all your success and coming into Philly to build a winner. Can you talk about the 3 players you brought in tonight? You pick up, you drafted 2 international bigs and a crafty guard out of Tennessee. How can they help the Sixers? And when you look at those 3 young guys, what do you see?
Yeah, I appreciate saying success. We're obviously not where we want to be. So, hopefully we can get to where we want to be, championship in the future. So I think it was 1 international big, just FYI. And frankly, Petrushev has played in the U.S. in college, but he is from overseas. I think all 3 we think have a really good shot, and at positions that there's a path where, if they're, showing things to Coach Rivers, there may be opportunity to play. I think our big spot right now, obviously we don't know what's going to happen in free agency yet, but our big spot right now has some, a little more obvious roster opportunity. That is not what we focus on, but it just happened to be that the players we like the best. Our rough plan was to take a non-big in the first round. We thought the depth at the big spot was really, really strong this year, and we thought that at the pick that we had in the 50s, there would be one left. I was thrilled that Josh allowed us to spend $2 million to get a pick. We felt like there was going to be a strong stash, and then a big that was, again, we got a big who was top 10 high school in the country. It's pretty rare for those guys to go outside the first round. And so, but we sort of planned that. We had a group of bigs we thought could make it to the early 50s. And we thought there'd be a strong non-big, and that sort of rough plan played out. It doesn't always, so, but it did tonight. And we think Petrus have someone who has a real chance to help us down the road. He'll likely start in overseas and then be someone who can come over later.
Okay. Will 2 or 3 of the guys play in Vegas this summer?
I think all three. I know they all want to. Sometimes you can have some with the international players, you can have some potential issues with getting in the country and things. But the plan with all three is to play, and that's the goal that we're working with them and their representatives.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
So 2 more questions. We'll start with Mark Narducci.
Hey, Daryl, did you have any offers for that pick at 28, or were you going to just keep that all along?
We had offers. We preferred Jaden, so we were excited about Jaden and thought he was a great fit. And pretty rare to have a guy, especially at 28, who's already demonstrated a strong level of play in college before age 19. So we just thought that combination was too unique to pass up.
Final question, Surgeon Kumas.
Hey Daryl, like you said, you want to focus on the picks tonight rather than what else is going on. But with the pick of Springer, where does that really leave room for guys like Furkan and Danny Green?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're trying to win the title, so we're not expecting any of our. We love it when a guy like Maxey and Joe and Reed show us flashes, and obviously, especially. They're so fun this year. Honestly, it was like a joy, and that's why we're so hoping to repeat it with this group of this group of guys. But we don't go into like a season saying, okay, we think the guys we just drafted are going to help in year 1, so that wouldn't impact any of our free agent decisions.
Thanks, Daryl. All right, thank you, Daryl.
Thanks. Hey, I really appreciate you guys staying up, and thanks so much. Thanks. Go Sixers.